I want you to leave.
Hello everyone, the December review here, back again with my quick review on WandaVision episode 4. Make sure to head on over to Disney Plus to check this episode and series out, for in my book it's must-see TV. Spoilers ahead for the series, and if you like this video, make sure to subscribe to the channel for more. When we last left off, we saw Geraldine, aka Monica Rambeau, assist with the delivery of Wanda and Vision's twins, but not soon after mention he who should never be spoken, Ultron. The tension was building up as the neighbors were about to clue us in on some details. However, that was subverted and Geraldine, quote, went home. It was an excellent cliffhanger that brings us to episode 4 titled, We Interrupt This Program. The name can hold a double meaning here because in episode 4 we escape out of the TV series format and are now back in reality and the MCU. The show kicks off with Monica re-emerging from the blip as it's been 5 years since she was snapped away, and the opening sequence does a great job of creating the panic that ensued when the Snap people returned. It was also interesting to hear some dialogue from Captain Marvel as her memories when she reformed.
Lieutenant Trouble.
We learn that her mother Maria has passed away, but not before helping to build SWORD, the organization we keep seeing the symbols of. Side note, Maria's nickname on a remembrance plaque is Photon, the same name Monica used in the comics along with her other names Spectrum, Pulsar, and of course, Captain Marvel. Monica is back on active duty and is called to assist with a missing persons investigation in the New Jersey town of Westview. She meets up with Jimmy Woo, and if anyone out there was getting tired of waiting for some answers in this series, you are in luck, cause...
You want answers?
I think I'm entitled.
You want answers?
I want the truth!
You can't handle the truth!
We get a whole lot of answers here. That helicopter we saw in episode 2, the one with the Iron Man colors, sword symbol, and the number 57 on it, well, it was a drone Monica sent into the Westview bubble. Notice the Captain Marvel colors on it that it originally had. That beekeeper who came up from the sewer, well, it was just a SWORD agent attempting to circumvent the perimeter and go underground to investigate. That radio transmission that freaked us out when Wanda was with Dottie, well, that was just Jimmy and Darcy Lewis trying to reach out to Wanda.
Wanda. Who's doing this to you, Wanda? Wanda. What?
The episode did a great job connecting some dots everyone has either kind of figured out or just speculated on thus far. At first, I was a little disappointed to leave the TV world for as long as we did, as the charm and on-screen chemistry between Vision and Wanda is a delight. But after my second viewing, I came around to the fact that A, I'm probably in the minority thinking that, and B, with only 9 episodes in the series run, we officially have hit the second act. So a little interruption in our programming is to be expected. There are, of course, a million Easter eggs to be found here once again. You literally can't go more than 10 seconds without something either teasing or being a red flag or just being a callback to a previous MCU moment. The writers have done an exceptional job of layering every scene with mystery that will either be something big going forward or just a small nod for the current situation. It's as if Lost was rebooted, but this time the writers decided to actually follow through with a point. Just kidding, Lost fans. We get an Ant-Man and the Wasp callback with Jimmy pulling off the card trick when he meets Monica. The new director of SWORD is Brian Hayward, who shares the last name of a bad guy who was in the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. TV show. That could be something, or it could be nothing, but it needs to be noted. There's a mention of the astronaut training program and the cosmic radiation that is surrounding Westview. Put them together and you get a Fantastic Four reference. Also, it could fall in line with the Eternals. With Marvel in production on the new FF film, my instincts that WandaVision could be reversing the plotline in House of M still is on point. In the comics, Wanda uttered 3 words that would change the in-print landscape. No more mutants. With the recent acquiring of branded Marvel characters, WandaVision seemingly will do the opposite and instead usher in the X-Men type universe, among others. The whiteboard Jimmy is using to jot down notes brings up two interesting questions. One is the already noticed use of the hexagons in the series so far. I've seen many theories, most of which point to the hive, which along with the unexplained bees, well, that sounds good to me. What's interesting though is Jimmy's notice of it as well, which points to either a red herring or the hexagons will factor in. Jimmy also notes the scrolls. Turns out that the bubble over Westview has given the people surrounding the town a bit of amnesia, as no one seems to think Westview even exists. The people inside who we have met thus far are the real people who have been living there but now have new names. During the scene where Sword is tracing the people in the TV show, the names they list off trace back to the real names of some of the production team on the series. Curiously, two people they didn't mention were Agnes and Dottie. Their reveals will most likely be Godzilla-sized big for the future of MCU. Like each episode so far, the final few minutes are can't miss. Here we get the retelling of the events in the last episode when Monica and Wanda had their situation. Turns out, in a rather exceptional moment, Wanda says Monica isn't a friend and isn't welcomed anymore, going full Scarlet Witch and booting her off the island. Back with Sword, Monica claims that the whole situation is Wanda pulling the strings. The ending also brought us the biggest jump scare of the series so far, in which we see a dead Vision talking to Wanda moments after the Monica booting. Wanda quickly adjusts herself and we get sitcom Vision back, who says that they don't have to stay there anymore. Wanda insists that Westview is home. There are a few ways to interpret the pulverized Vision moment. It's of course how we last saw him, and most likely how he has been since the end of Endgame. We know Wanda has snapped and has created this world as a way to cope with the multiple losses she has endured in her life. It could have just been a momentary lapse in the Matrix she is creating as she was thrown for a bit of a loop with Monica. It could also be something a bit more nefarious than that, taking into account that I am still all in on the Mephisto theory, the devil works in mysterious ways.
We don't have to stay here.
There was an old episode of The Monkees where Peter trades in his soul for the talent of playing the golden harp. Once the deal is completed, the devil comes to collect. But alas, Michael steps in to save the day, insisting that Peter had the power inside of him all along, negating the deal.
And it was that kind of power that made Peter able to play the harp. And you didn't have anything to do with it at all.
Perhaps it's a daydream to believe that somehow ties in here, but considering how deep the series is pulling inspiration from, even with the answers we received this week, nothing is truly as it seems. Overall, Episode 4 continues the series' winning streak of creating the most compelling entertainment to arrive in quite some time. I barely even mentioned the prolonged moments with Darcy and the time spent inside the Sword headquarters, where everywhere you look gives insight to the situation. Phase 4 is officially in high gear now, as the year spent creating this world of the Avengers is layering itself one piece at a time and channeling through the heartbroken mind of Wanda Maximoff.
Oh, she left, honey. She had to rush home.
What? What is it? What's wrong?